The Midnight Visitor.
Summary. Ausable was a secret agent staying in a French hotel. A young and romantic writer named Fowler visited him, hoping to meet an impressive detective. However, he was disappointed to see that Ausable was a sloppy, fat man who did not match his expectations of a secret agent. Ausable's room was on the 6th and top floor of a musty and gloomy hotel. When they entered, they found a man with a pistol standing in the center of the room. It was the first thrill of the day for Fowler. The man introduced himself as Max and claimed that he had come to seize a confidential report from Ausable. However, Ausable remained calm and appeared more irritated with the hotel's security than afraid. He cleverly concocted a story about a balcony outside the window, claiming that it had become a security concern as strangers had entered his room that way before. Max admitted that he had used a master key to enter the room and wished he had used the balcony instead. A sudden knock at the door startled Maximum. Ausable calmly stated that it must be the police, whom he had called for protection, as the report was highly confidential. Hearing this, Max panicked and decided to escape through the balcony. He jumped out of the window, only to fall to his death, as there was no balcony. Moments later, the door opened, and a waiter entered with a bottle of wine and 2 glasses that Ausable had ordered. Fowler was astonished at Ausable's cleverness, realizing that intelligence and presence of mind were more powerful than a gun.
Detailed summary. Fowler meets secret agent Ausable. Fowler, a young and romantic writer, visited Ausable's office to gather material for his book on secret agents. He had imagined a secret agent to be a smart, gun-wielding character, as depicted in books and films. However, he was disappointed when he met Ausable, a fat and sloppy man with an American accent. Even Ausable acknowledged that Fowler must have been let down. The important paper in Ausable's custody. Ausable told Fowler that he had a crucial report in his possession, which could potentially alter the course of history. When Ausable switched on the light, Fowler experienced his first real thrill, the sight of a man holding a small automatic pistol. Max enters with a pistol. Ausable was shocked to see Max in his room. Max was a cunning, fox-faced secret agent. Though he did not appear particularly threatening, he was armed with a pistol. Max demanded the confidential report on missiles, intending to take it from Ausable. Ausable cooks up a story about the balcony. Thinking quickly, Ausable fabricated a story about a balcony beneath his window, claiming that it had been a security problem for some time. He said that it belonged to the adjacent apartment and that someone had broken into his room through it before. Max, who had entered using a master key, was unaware of this so-called balcony. A knock at the door. As Max stood in the room, pointing his pistol at Ausable and Fowler, a knock at the door startled him. Ausable immediately told Max that it must be the police, whom he had called for extra security. Max grew nervous, believing that the police would enter and shoot him. He hesitated but knew he had to act fast. Nervous Max jumps out of the window. Max, fearing the arrival of the police, decided to escape. He moved toward the window, ready to wait on the balcony. Without verifying its existence, he jumped and let out a desperate scream as he plunged to his death. The waiter appears. The door opened, revealing not the police but a waiter carrying a bottle of wine and 2 glasses, an order placed by Ausable. Fowler was still in shock. He asked Ausable about the man who had jumped out. Ausable casually assured him that Max would not return, as there was no balcony beneath the window.
Character sketch. Ausable. Ausable is an unconventional secret agent. Unlike the typical depiction of spies in films, he is overweight, clumsy, and does not carry a gun. However, he possesses remarkable intelligence and quick thinking. His ability to fabricate convincing stories on the spot demonstrates his resourcefulness. He manipulates Max into believing the balcony story, leading to his downfall. Max. Max is a rival spy who appears cunning but ultimately lacks foresight. Though he carries a pistol, he is outwitted by Ausable's quick thinking. His overconfidence and failure to verify facts lead to his demise. Fowler. Fowler is a young writer who initially believes secret agents live adventurous lives filled with danger. He is disappointed upon meeting Ausable, but by the end of the story, he realizes that intelligence and wit are more powerful than a gun.
Questions and answers. What made the story of the balcony so convincing? Ausable cleverly expressed frustration about the balcony, stating that someone had entered through it before. He added that it belonged to the next apartment and was a security nuisance. His calm and detailed explanation made the story believable. How did Max leave Ausable's room? Max, fearing the arrival of the police, decided to escape through the balcony. Without verifying its existence, he jumped out of the window and fell to his death. How and why did Max enter Ausable's room? Max used a passkey to enter the room. He was there to steal a secret report on new missiles, believing it to be in Ausable's possession. Why did so many people risk their lives? The confidential paper that Ausable had contained crucial information about missiles. It was so valuable that spies were willing to risk their lives to obtain it. Who was expected to bring something to Ausable's room? Someone was expected to deliver a highly confidential report on missiles to Ausable. Who was in Ausable's room, and what was in his hand? A spy named Max was in Ausable's room. He was holding an automatic pistol.
How is Ausable different from other secret agents? Ausable is unlike the stereotypical secret agent. He is overweight, lives in a modest hotel room, and speaks with an American accent despite living in Paris for over 2 decades. Unlike the agile and glamorous spies often depicted in fiction, Ausable relies on his intelligence and quick thinking rather than physical prowess. His ability to outsmart Max using only words highlights his sharp wit and resourcefulness.
Who was Henry? What role did he play in Ausable's plan? Henry was a waiter at the hotel where Ausable stayed. His arrival at the door played a crucial role in Ausable's clever deception. When Henry knocked, Ausable used the opportunity to convince Max that it was the police, sent for his protection. This panicked Max, making him attempt an escape through a non-existent balcony, leading to his downfall. Though unaware, Henry's timely knock indirectly contributed to Max's fate.
How did Ausable's presence of mind help him get rid of Max? Ausable's quick thinking and calm demeanor helped him outwit Max without any physical confrontation. When Max entered his room with a gun, demanding a secret report, Ausable fabricated a story about a balcony outside the window. He further tricked Max by pretending that the sudden knock at the door was the police. Believing this, Max tried to escape through the imaginary balcony and ultimately met his end. Ausable's intelligence and ability to manipulate the situation proved more effective than brute force.
What was the important paper Ausable spoke about? How did it play a role in the story? The document Ausable mentioned contained crucial information about new missiles, making it highly valuable to rival forces. Max had broken into Ausable's room intending to steal this report. However, the paper ultimately became a tool in Ausable's psychological strategy. By emphasizing its significance and tricking Max into thinking the police were after him, Ausable managed to turn the situation in his favor without any violence.